So today's video is going to be about 5 study tips that helped me pass tests in grad school. So the first thing is paying close attention to your teacher. So what I mean by that is paying close attention to what your teacher emphasized. So sometimes they may repeat something. Sometimes they will actually tell you to write it down. A couple teachers will actually say, make sure you know this. Make sure you guys know this. This is very important. If it's either for the test or if it's either for their boards, they will let you know. So they will emphasize it, they will repeat it, they will tell you to write it down and study it, put a star beside it, highlight it. So number 2 is beginning to study early. That's something that I have to do. That's something that I learned way back in grade school, that it takes me a little bit longer than the average person to retain material. So I have to start studying at least like the next day after that lecture, just to keep it in my mind and keep it fresh. And I basically will do that every day there on after, and just reading through it, not necessarily studying hard and trying to memorize it, but the repetitiveness of seeing it over and over and just reading through my notes day by day until the test comes. I already know it. Like it's ingrained in my head. I already know it. If it's not that night just reading through it, it's the next day I'm reading through the lectures. The third thing I found that helped me a lot, I learned when I study right before going to sleep, I retain so much. I don't know what it is that happens, but just reading right before I go to bed, like I wake up and I can recall almost everything from word to word, like on my paper. So studying right before going to bed helped a lot. The fourth thing I learned that helped me is when I do study, I study out loud. Studying out loud and hearing my voice, or studying out loud and pretending like I'm teaching somebody else. The lecture helped me a lot as well, just to retain it. Like I said, I'm not truly sure exactly what is going on in my mind, but just hearing myself allowed me to retain it a lot easier. The last thing that I did that helped, creating note cards. So, I didn't only create note cards for vocabulary, I almost created note cards for everything, but it was the point of me just rewriting and studying my written notes helped me also retain it. It is time consuming, but like I said, I start studying ahead of time. So the day after, when I'm reviewing my notes for the first time, I'll start jotting things down then. Start writing those notes then. And then start writing the next day when I go over the next part, I'll start writing in those notes then. So by the time when it is crunch time to study, all the notes will be in my own handwriting, and I'll study my notes instead of studying the lecture notes. Stuff that I know that I can retain and memorize, I didn't have to write it down, but a lot I did redo, and like I said, it's time consuming. So I don't recommend, like, if you have a week to study and don't rewrite your notes, just go ahead and just try to study what's already on the paper. I start studying way in advance, so which allows me to be able to rewrite my notes. So I hope you like those 5 tips or 5 habits. Take these 5 tips and try them and let me know if it works. I know some of you guys reached out that you guys will be starting school this coming fall, so try these out. You don't have to try all, but try these out and let me know how it works for you. These are what helped me pass with pretty good grades. I think my lowest grade was probably a low B on the test. When it comes to tests in grad school, it's not just 1-2 chapters, it's 1 through 7, and I think just similar to how undergrad was. So those are 5 study tips that I recommend that you try. You don't have to try all 5, but just try studying right before you go to bed and see the big difference it makes, because it makes a big difference. So I hope you like this video. Like, subscribe. Until next time, see you in the next video.